You know that feeling when the lights are turned off, you can still walk around in your own home because you know where everything is, and you feel around with your hands for that light switch, and you know exactly where it is. And then your hand automatically reaches it and turns the light switch on, because you're so used to your own home. That feeling of being able to walk around when the lights are turned off, knowing where you're going, I lost all of that. I was the girl that never had to worry about anything until I wasn't that girl. For me, the definition of homeless meant somebody without a home. Homeless people out on the street were kind of different from the people that I saw in my daily life and myself. But what I didn't understand was how easy it was for anybody to become homeless. Anybody could end up like that. It all happened during my sophomore year, and it just got worse and worse every day until we reached that summer right before my junior year started. It was that summer. My parents lost their job and we used all of our savings. Everything that we had, everything that I saved up for college, everything that we had for our future, everything that we just saved up was gone with a blink of an eye. I lost everything. I lost my home. When you walked in, you felt so big because the place was so small. There was a bed and a kitchen and just one shower room. That was it for the three of us, in one room. I wanted to stay out. I never wanted to come home because that place wasn't home for me. Every time I came inside, I smelled gas. The stove was broken, so the gas leaked from the stove, and because gas is heavier than the air that we breathe, it would float and sink to the bottom of the room. And when I slept, I would sleep on the floor because I would give up the bed for my parents to sleep in. That smell of gas would just fill up in my lungs and my nose, and I was sick of it. I didn't want to smell it anymore. But there was no escape for that. I spent day and night smelling that gas, hoping it would go away, trying to let myself fall asleep, but I couldn't. The smell was just so strong and inevitable. Just as I got used to sharing one room together, we moved out because we could not even afford the room. So then we went to a tiny hotel room. You could pull out the couch to be a bed, and there was a big bed for 2 people. But if we stretched out the couch, there would hardly be any space for us to walk around. School was an escape for me. That was the best part because I had nowhere to go. Every day at school I was worried. I was worried about food I would be eating that night, where I would be sleeping that night, having to shower, if my parents would be able to find somewhere we could stay for that night, doing my homework. I was worried somebody would find out. And one day it took my mom a long time to pick me up. She usually doesn't take that long, and I think I had been waiting about an hour, and I was really frustrated. I was waiting and calling, and she said she would be there just like all moms do. I waited and both my parents came to pick me up, and I thought, well, that's odd, and as I looked to sit in the back seat, I saw all of our suitcases in the back seat of our car. Every single one of them, all packed. My life was on a backseat of a car. You see, I had this pink unicorn pillow pet that I used to carry around with me all the time, and it was just sitting there on top of our entire luggage as if it was the cherry on top of my life. My life was in a backseat of a car in my high school parking lot. So I opened the door in the back and squeezed it as tightly as I could. There was a little moment of silence, and in my head thoughts went through. I had a gush of anger, doubt, and fear. I was doubtful because I didn't know why all these suitcases were in the backseat of our car, and I was scared and anxious because I didn't know what was happening to me. So I asked my mom, "Why are all these suitcases in the backseat of our car?" And she answered, "Because we don't know where to go tonight, and those are all of our things." And at that moment, my heart sank. All these worries started popping up in my head. Shower, homework, greasy hair, would I have light to do my homework, recharge my phone? Do I have to tell my teachers? Where am I going to eat or sleep? How are we going to sleep in the car, all three of us? And as we were driving out of that school parking lot, I realized that every student and every friend of mine today said, "I'm going home today." But I didn't have one. The home that I could actually call home was a place I was sitting in, which was the car. We found a place to stay with our maxed out credit card just for that one last night. And then we found somebody that would take us in. And then online, we sold our belongings, and little by little, our furniture was sold to provide for ourselves. And every time something was sold, I felt a part of me rip away because I grew up with those couches and beds. But with that, my parents got a job again. We moved to a one-room apartment where I still am. We're slowly getting back on our feet, and I'm just happy that I have a safe and warm home now. Now, whenever I see somebody suffering or going through pain, struggling financially, I feel so compassionate. I think that really gave me a compassionate heart because I know that pain inside that they have. I'm proud to say that I am who I am today because of what I went through. I learned that you have to cherish every memory and be appreciative of every single person around you that care for you and love you. People that made me laugh or made my day just a little bit more enjoyable during that time, the memories that I made, those people are my pink unicorn pillow pet. They're the cherry on top of who I am as a person today, and I'm so thankful for that.